We're still a ways from getting into our alfalfa fields, but if we're considering some spring seeding, let's talk about planting rates with our expert, Dr. Don Miller. And Doctor is Director of Product Development with Alforex Seeds. And Don, we get a lot of people that have been in the industry and academia that have different ideas about planting rates, but give us some guidance on how we establish the right planting rates when we're going to do our spring seeding.
First of all, hopefully you've selected a good variety that fits your needs, like a High-Gest 360 or an AFX 460. But beyond that, as far as direct seeding, I like to plant a little bit more seed than what some people recommend. I think 16 to 18 pounds is a good rate. I really hate to skimp on seed right there at the beginning because you're trying to establish a stand that you're going to live with for the next 3 or 4 years. And it's really hard to thicken up a thin stand if you don't get that initial stand that you want. And I think you have several options as far as the type of seed that you can plant. You can plant raw pre-inoculated seed, which has the rhizobium on it. And then you also have the option of fungicides on that seed. In the past, we used to put apron on it, but now we've also recommending maybe Stamina as another fungicide on that seed. The Stamina gives you some Aphanomyces protection, which the apron didn't. So if you're planting in wet soils and where you've had some issues with damping off in the past, I think the fungicides are a good option on that raw pre-inoculated seed. The other option that you have is also coated seed, and always a little bit of debate on coated seed, but I think at the end of the day, it essentially gives you the same stand as what a raw seed will do because you have an enhanced survival with the coating and the treatments that are put on that coated seed. But again, I think on the coated seed, same rate, 16 to 18 pounds, even though you're planting a little bit less seed because of the coating on it. The coating does compensate for that and gives you better enhanced survival. And at the end of 5 weeks after planting, whether you got raw or coated seed, you usually can get 25 to 35 plants per square foot, and that's a pretty good stand to start with. So,
Don, as far as selecting our seed and the coated seed, pre-inoculated, whatever, does it make a difference then as far as our seeds per acre, direct seeding versus maybe using a nurse crop?
Well, if you do use a nurse crop, I think the main thing to think of is don't overdo it. Sometimes people will plant too much of the nurse crop with the alfalfa, and they think, well, they get a really good, say, oat alfalfa crop right there at the beginning. But you have to keep in mind that you're trying to establish an alfalfa field, and if you hurt it by having too high a population of the nurse crop, then you have to live with a poor stand of alfalfa the next 3 or 4 years. So if you're planting oats as a nurse crop, I think less than 30 pounds, or some people say half a normal rate of what you would plant, say, oats on a normal basis. But you need to remember that it competes with alfalfa for water, light, and nutrients, and so keep that in mind. And so also on that nurse crop, you need to cut it early. Don't let it go to full maturity. Cut it in the boot stage, and that way you give the alfalfa a little bit better chance of helping get established there at the beginning. And remove that nurse crop, you still need a stand after 3 or 4 years, and so don't let it go to full maturity.
Very good. Thanks, Don, for our update. Alfalfa planting rates and considerations to do it right the first time. Don Miller, our expert, Director of Product Development with Alforex.